Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesigntechtips.com. Well, a little while ago we did the sort of image with a hover blurb effect that slides up there when you hover over the little icon, the little black bar at the bottom. We had a question on it. Somebody asked, can you use text instead of an icon? And simple answer is yeah, absolutely. You can use pretty much whatever you want. We've got some down here where we've created a title just using text modules for that. Really easy to do. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the visual builder. Once enabled, let's go down to where we want to work. I'll add a new row here, a little green button to add a new row. I'll use 3 columns, obviously use however many or however few columns you want. And for this today, I'm just going to use a simple text module. If we roll all the way down, there's a text module. Okay, well, I'm going to drop the text down a little bit, just hitting my return key, and I'm going to add a title at the top. Whatever it is you want to say with yours, I've got no real content, so I'm just going to put that in there. I'm going to make mine perhaps a heading 3 by selecting it, going up to the paragraph text at the top, and make it into whatever it is you want to make yours. So that if I roll this up a bit, there we have it, my title and a bit of content there. Okay, I'm going to go over to my design tab now. Just roll this over a little bit closer here. In the text, I want everything central, so I'm going to roll down, put it in the middle there. And my heading text up there, you can just roll over it, hit the little blue paintbrush, as you can do with the other things as well. It'll take you straight to that heading 3 text. I'm going to capitalize it, take it down a little bit smaller, let's say 15 pixels perhaps. However, whatever size you want yours. Just for fun on this one, let's make it semi-bold too. Here's the font weight. And Divi, of course, has got a crazy amount of font. If you want to change fonts, just go in there, roll over one. It'll give you an example of that font when you roll over it. I'm going to leave mine on the default there. Okay, well that's kind of working. Now what I want to do is actually add an image in the background. And if you watch any of my other text to image videos, the way this is done usually is by putting an image in the actual column itself. So let's do that. I'm going to save the changes here. We're going to go into the row, the green tab. We've got 3 columns there. First one, middle one, and the one on the right. We're on the first one, the one on the left there. Going to go in there. Going to go down to background. Going to go over to image. We've got color, gradient, image, video, background pattern or background mask. I'll use that same image as I used in my last one. Great. Well, what I actually want to do is give this a fixed height. And we'll give it a fixed height on all the various devices so that it's the kind of aspect ratio that we want that image to be. So to do that, I'm going to write one tiny little bit of code, but that's okay. Really easy, and I'll put it down below for anybody that wants to copy and paste. I'm going to go over to the Advanced tab, Custom CSS. In the main element, I'm going to give it a fixed height, colon, let's say 300 pixels. Great, I'm going to put a little semicolon after that. Let's just take a look at it on iPad, make sure it's the shape that we want it here. To do that, roll over the little mobile phone type icon. I'm going to go over to the tablet, roll on down so we can see it. Hits our bottom one there, it's right there. Actually that's okay, aspect ratio, you can make it a little bit taller if you wanted to, that's entirely up to you. Let's have a look on phone. And that's fine on phone. Just to illustrate, if you wanted to make this taller on tablet, let's give it a height on the tablet. Let's say 400 pixels on the tablet. Yeah, that works, just to illustrate. Pop a semicolon on there. And on the phone, let's have a look. That's actually okay. Let's take it back down to 350 on the phone. Great, well that works for me. So we've got it the shape that we want it on all devices there. But what's going to happen here is I'm going to make this and pull this all down to the bottom, and we don't want to be seeing it when it falls out of the bottom there. So to avoid that, what I'm going to do is close up the custom CSS, Go down to the visibility. Let's go back to desktop mode so you can see what's going on. Once in visibility, go down to horizontal and vertical overflow, and we're going to set both of those to hidden. That way when we slide our module down out of the way, you're not going to see it falling out of the column there. Great. Well, we're happy with our column and our row there, so let's save the column. We'll save the main row settings. Let's go back into our little text module. What I'm going to do now, under the content tab, I'm going to go down to background. I'm going to make my background black. I'm going to take the opacity down a little bit so we can see a tiny bit of the image through there. I've just clicked on the black color field. Variegated slider over here. I'm going to drag it down, I don't know, 70%, 60%, something like that. Just so it's got a hint of the image behind. Great, now I'm going to go over to my design. Into the text, I'm going to make it light in color so we can actually see it. Let's roll down. Let's just make it white. And also my title, again I'm going to click on the little paintbrush. I'm going to make that white too. Great, well we can see that a bit better. Okay, well let's fix our sizing and spacing here so it looks a little better. Still in design, I'm going to close up the heading text. I'm going to go down to sizing. I'm going to roll down to height. I'm going to give it a height of 100%, 100 and the percent sign, so it fills all of the available space there. And it'll do that on both tablet and mobile. Anyway, 100% is 100% on all devices. Now let's go down to spacing below it. Padding top, initially, let's perhaps give it 5 pixels. There we go, little gap. Bottom, I'll give it 30, doesn't matter too much, we've got a fixed height. And left and right, we'll give that 32. Just put in the 30, hit the chain, it'll put in the other one for you. Fantastic. Okay, now we need to make the magic happen. It's really easy. What I'm going to do is give it a margin on the top. I'll try perhaps 250. Not quite enough. Let's try 270. That's almost there. I'm going to increment up with my little arrows there till that my title sort of in the middle of the dark bar at the bottom. Now we want to make sure that's going to look good on tablet and mobile. If you're deciding to use it on, then obviously they'll have to click rather than hover on it on tablet and mobile, but it'll still work fine. I'm going to hit my little devices icon again, go over to tablet once more. We'll scroll down to where we were working, right there. Obviously we need to give it a bit more on the tablet, so let's try 300. Not enough. 370. I think we gave it an extra 100, didn't we? Almost there. That'll work for me. And on the phone, we need to up that a little too much. Not quite enough. Ooh, that's pretty close. Just take it down a bit. Yeah, that'll work for me on phone. We'll save our changes now. Roll back down here. One thing I'll point out is once you've moved something down with margin like this, occasionally you're going to have trouble getting to that module again. If you do, make sure your little purple button's expanded at the bottom. We can go over the left hand side to wireframe view. Just go in there, it'll take you to back end mode and you get to it that way. Once you're in there, you can flip back to your desktop mode. Okay, well we've set those up for tablet and mobile. Now we want to make sure we can bring it back on hover. So to do that, very simple, design, spacing again. I'll turn off our responsive devices there. I'm going to go over and hit the little arrow that's up there. We can set a hover state. So on desktop it's going to be pushed all the way down there. If you hit the little arrow, when they hover over it, I want to make that 0. And obviously you'd want to do the same on all devices. But I'd also like that title to be a bit further down the page when they hover over it. So we can do that easy while we're in here. Just roll over the padding. Make sure you don't try and do it while you've got the margin one open here, because you'll affect the margin. You've got to go to the thing that you want to affect, in this case the padding. Hit the hover. Then we can give a different one for the padding. Let's perhaps give it 30 pixels on the top there, just to bring it down a little bit. Then it's got 30 pixel around there. Great, so when we're not hovering over it, we've got that. When we hover, we've got that. Now the time that Divi takes to go from one to the other by default is 300 milliseconds. But if you want to slow this down like I do for a bit of drama, like I say, 300 milliseconds is pretty quick, just under a third of a second. You can do so in the Advanced tab, down to Transitions. There's the transition duration, there's the default 300 milliseconds. I'm going to slow mine down to say 700 milliseconds, just under 3/4 of a second. Transition speed curve I like for mine is ease in, ease out. They're all pretty good. Some work better than other situations. That's my go-to guy for hover animations though. Transition delay, don't want any at all. I want it to happen as soon as they put their mouse on there. So if we've done everything correctly now, this should work for us. Let's save our changes. Save draft or publish if you're ready. Exit the visual builder. Roll on down to where we're working. And there it is, there's our little image. When I roll over the text, it's going to pop up and reveal the text there. When I get off, it's going to roll back down again, or ease back down again. And you'll notice the title's got a bit more spacing when it's up the top than it does at the bottom there. That works for me. Obviously adjust things to how you want. So there you go. I hope that's answered that question. There's how to do it with some text rather than an icon like we had up here. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.